Barclays is laying off roughly 50 senior deal makers as part of its annual staff cut. The cuts are said to be part of a plan to trim headcount by about 300 people across the corporate and investment bank divisions. That amounts to about 3% of total headcount in that unit, which also includes Barclays' trading operations. Let's get more details from Bloomberg's Tom Metcalf, who's been following the story and can give us an update. What do you make of these cuts then, Tom? What's the driver?
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing is this idea is 50 senior deal makers go in. I mean, these are the kind of cuts that are, at least traditionally, been pretty routine. You know, they go through, look to cull sort of the lowest or underperformers, as it were. But no, I think it's just another sign of just how difficult things are in the deal-making world. We've seen these cuts across Wall Street, and I think this is just the latest sign that, you know, that market is not bouncing back.
Is there a risk they come to regret this, though? They loaded up on headcount during the pandemic with all that activity. Activity is going to come back at some point, and then they're losing some of their big deal makers. I mean, is the rationale for this well underpinned?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the interesting thing. What we are seeing is some banks, namely Santander, for instance, you know, they're still hiring. They're seeing this as an opportunity as more sort of deal makers hit the market. Hey, let's build up our franchise. You know, I think they're coming from very different, you know, positions, right? Santander trying to grow. Barclays pretty big, pretty embedded already. So I think the big players are kind of retrenching, but, you know, some of the smaller rivals are perhaps seeing a bit of an opportunity.
And any sense of how this is spread across parts of investment banking? I remember speaking recently to some German investment bankers, different businesses actually, who are both talking about things on the IPO front, for example, looking a little brighter this sort of autumn than they had done during the summer when there was a lull. I mean, any sense of where these cuts fall then? Yeah,
there's definitely cuts in those areas. So ECM, obviously M&A, as you'd expect, but also in the trading side. So we don't have sort of the precise breakdown of how these 300 roles, you know, it's X% in trade and X% in deal making, but it does seem to be fairly sort of widespread across all areas.